So you're creating products for teachers pay teachers, but have you ever thought about taking those same resources and listing them on other marketplaces in order to increase your revenue, increase your exposure, and get your products into the hands of more customers? Well, if you haven't, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be talking about who should think about listing their resources in other marketplaces besides just TPT and why you should think about it. So let's just go ahead and get started. Let's talk about who should be thinking about doing this. Well, when it comes to listing your products in other marketplaces, number one, it's an excellent way to get your products in front of the eyes of more people. There are people who will not buy on Teachers Pay Teachers, and there are people who don't know about Teachers Pay Teachers. I know that's a little bit shocking, but it's true. And there are different types of people who shop on different platforms based on what they're looking for and just what they're familiar with. Homeschool parents, tutors, things like that. And so by listing on other marketplaces, we're increasing the chances that more people can find our products and thus more people can purchase our products. But there's also this. There are marketplaces out there for teachers and for teacher authors with lower fees than Teachers Pay Teachers. In fact, we're going to talk about one later on today that only has a 5% fee for free, like not a premium subscription, just 5% fee for a free seller account, whereas TPT has 20% fees on their premium seller accounts. We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be talking about different places that you can list, pros, cons of each. But let's go back to this. So I just said listing on an alternative marketplace can help gain you exposure, but it can also make you more money by listing on some of these platforms that charge lower fees than TPT. So let's talk about who should be thinking about listing their resources on other platforms, because it's not everybody. You should be thinking about listing your resources on other platforms if you're finding yourself in a saturated market. If you're finding that the market on TPT for your particular niche is very saturated and it's very competitive, then you might want to think about listing on alternative marketplaces where the competition isn't quite so stiff. That's going to give you the ability to get your product seen by more people, because no matter how well you search engine optimize your product, when the competition is stiff, fewer people are going to see your resources when you're new. But I'm listing myself in multiple places. I'm giving my product, the same product that I've already created, it's already made. I'm giving it multiple opportunities to be found in multiple different places on different platforms by different groups of people. I should also think about listing on an alternative marketplace if I am finding that my niche is undersaturated, right? There are so few sellers in my niche that teachers don't even know to look on TPT for my type of resource. And so by diversifying and putting myself in other places and other marketplaces, I'm increasing my chances that I might actually stumble into my audience. And so if you're not finding that your particular market is active on TPT, then you might want to try an alternative site. The third type of person is someone who has an established audience. Because if I can take my established audience, that's somebody who already knows, likes, and trusts me. So they're not going to be leery about buying on an alternative site because they already know me. Then I can send and direct traffic to a marketplace that charges me less money, which means I have more money in my pocket by directing the same amount of traffic to the same products, just in a different location, okay? So let's talk about who shouldn't think about listing on alternative marketplaces. This is kind of a tough one, and the reason why is that there are some people who should just go ahead and invest in creating their own website to sell their own resources and not have to worry about those fees. So if you're in a place in your business where you are thinking about selling on your own website, you feel comfortable with the tax situation, collecting, remitting sales tax, you have an accountant on hand, or you feel comfortable getting one, then I say go ahead and take the time and go ahead and put your resources on your own site and drive traffic. If you have an established audience, drive traffic to your own website. And that is going to be a better investment for you, because then you don't have to worry about taking all the time, effort, and energy and putting it into uploading resources to a different marketplace only for something to happen with that marketplace later on down the road. Maybe they increase their fees, maybe they go out of business, and then you've wasted all that time. So if you already have an established audience and you are ready to start your own website, then I say take that time and effort and put it into listing your own products in your own store on your website. So let's talk about some of the places that you can list on. I've got a list of 6. Now, this is not a comprehensive list, but I am going to go down. These are the most popular ones for TPT sellers, and some of them are really new and not very many people know about them. So we're going to start with one that I have actually tried before and I didn't like it. And so I didn't end up putting my resources on, and that is Amazon Ignite. I really thought when it first came out, like Amazon does everything well, right? So why wouldn't they do educational resources well? They had the money to put behind it, but honestly, guys, they just didn't. And I've talked to some people before who have said their resources are selling on Amazon Ignite, but it is kind of hard to get in. So it's invite only. You can request to be invited, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to get an invitation. And then the other thing was, and this was the deal breaker for me, is that you can't have links to other websites within your product. So all of my products have an insert that links back to TPT, that links back to other places, and they won't let you do that. And so same for your clip artist. If you've got to credit your clip artist and link back to your clip artist, then that's kind of a bummer, because then that means that you either can't put up the resources that don't link back to your clip artists, if that's what your clip artist requires, or you have to redo all of your pages or take any of those things out that do link back to your TPT store. And that just was a little bit too much of a hassle for me, because they keep 30%. So whereas TPT's premium seller account keeps 20%, Amazon Ignite keeps 30%. And so I was not planning on driving any traffic there. So I just decided, you know what, it's not worth the time. And I went ahead and just did not list my resources. I didn't go through with that. Another one that is pretty popular and actually has some amount of organic traffic, and it's been around for a while, so it's established, and we don't necessarily have to worry about it going anywhere or coming and going. It has a good reputation, and that is Made by Teachers. So Made by Teachers offers 5% higher commissions on their premium seller account. But their free account is already significantly higher than the free account for TPT. So their free account, I believe, offers 70 or 75% commissions, and that's on their free account. So you don't have to pay for their premium subscription or anything like that. It's already higher than the free account on TPT. But for their premium account, they offer 85% commissions. So the fact that they already have some organic traffic, they already have some loyal customers, they have people who are shopping on their platform. No, it's not as popular as TPT, but they do offer that higher commissions. And so anything that you sell on there is just going to be more profit for you. And so that's why I like Made by Teachers. I like the fact that it's been around for a while. I like the fact that it has a good reputation. And I like the fact that they offer those higher commissions. The next place, and this is the one that piques my interest so much, and it is on my list of places to list, and that is Classful. Classful caught my attention because they only take 5% plus your Stripe processing fees. So currently, Stripe's transaction fees are 2.9%, plus I believe a 30-cent transaction fee. So this is really amazing, 5%. You're looking at a total of 7.9% in fees plus 30 cents. So if you have a super low price product, you're not going to come out super far ahead. But this is especially a big deal when you get into those bigger bundles, those higher ticket items. And so if you have your own audience, Classful is new, so I'm not expecting that it's going to have a ton of organic traffic on its own. But if you already have an established audience, this is a really great place to get listed because they take care of all of the sales tax stuff. They do all of that for you, but you get to keep a little over 90% of your earnings, which is absolutely amazing. And so Classful. By the way, I'm going to link to all of these down in the description, and so you can grab all of these there. The next place that I would think about listing is TeachSimple. Now, this one is really interesting. And a lot of people are kind of scared to list on it. And so I'm going to talk to you about who this one specifically I think would be for. TeachSimple is actually a subscription service. So teachers pay like $10 a month to get access to all of the resources that are inside their catalog. Now, this is a growing library of resources. So I would imagine that over time, that $10 a month is probably going to go up. They're probably going to raise that at some point. But for right now, it's $10 a month. And then what TeachSimple does is they take 50% of that money, $5 out of that $10, and they use that for marketing. So they'll market their service for you. So the more people they have on the platform, the more money you make, or the more opportunities you have to make money with your resources. And so they market and they do all of the behind the scenes costs and everything like that, operations costs. With that other $5, they split it evenly between the number of downloads that that user downloaded that month. And at first I was like, well, that's not going to be very much money because a teacher's going to download a lot of things, right? If they download 20 items, then we're making pennies on a resource. So I reached out to TeachSimple and I talked to them and I was like, explain this to me. How does this work? And they told me that their average user downloads 2 products a month. They also have several users on the site who don't download anything. So they're paying every month, but they're not downloading anything. And so they take those costs, that 50% from the people who aren't downloading anything, and they split it between all of the sellers whose products did get downloaded that month. And they said that the average download comes out to be over $3. I think they said between $3 and $3.50. So what that means is, on average, whenever your product gets downloaded, you make $3.50. Well, the average price of my product is like $4.06. And so by the time TPT takes out their fees and all of that good stuff, we're about even Steven. And so this is kind of a no harm situation. And so this would not be super appealing to me except for one more reason. And that is that if you have over 50 resources, they will list all of your resources for you. You send them covers, you send them previews, you send them your product, and they will take care of everything for you. And so they'll do the SEO, they'll do all of that good stuff. And so you don't have to spend a lot of time putting those resources up and getting them listed. So who do I think this is good for? I don't necessarily think that this is good for someone who has an established audience, because why would I send you there when I could send you somewhere else where I'm probably going to make more money? Plus, I don't really want to send you somewhere where you can pay $10 a month to access all of my resources. Not really something I want to do. Who I think this is really great for is the teacher author who doesn't want to do any marketing. They're not really interested in building and creating their own audience. They're really just kind of interested in having a little bit of passive income. They want to create the products, put them up, and not have to think about it again. And if that's you, I would list on all of these websites because it absolutely cannot hurt. This is great for someone who is creating resources as a hobby, or someone who's retired and they just want to share the resources that they have and maybe earn a little bit of income on the side too. That's the kind of person that I would recommend TeachSimple to. So let's talk about 2 more, Etsy and Creative Market. So Etsy is a really great place to list certain resources. Think fonts, crafts, early childhood, classroom decor, teacher planners, things like that. All of that creative stuff I would try to list on Etsy. And if you're in a niche where you aren't getting a lot of traffic on TPT, buyers aren't looking there, I would take a look at Etsy and see if there are resources on Etsy they're similar to what you list on Teachers Pay Teachers, because you might be surprised that there's a strong homeschool market of moms who shop on Etsy, but they may not shop on Teachers Pay Teachers. And so that is a really great place to get more eyes on your product, but also it's a place where creatives shop. So if you create resources that cater to creatives, again, fonts, decor, things like that, then I would 100% list those on Etsy. Now, Etsy on average, by the time it all averages out, they have a lot of fees, but you're looking in the neighborhood of about 75% is what you get to keep. A lot of that depends on whether or not your product was purchased through an ad that was paid for by Etsy and all that kind of stuff. But here's where I really love Etsy. You can buy ads on Etsy. Most of these marketplaces don't really offer ads. I know TPT has ads, but listen, we all know they don't really work very well, and you're limited with how much money you can make, and you've really got to hustle to try to get one of those slots. So with Etsy, you can run ongoing ads to your product if it's something that's in season and get more eyes on that product. The last one is Creative Market, and this is one for mock-ups, photos, fonts, things like that. This is a really great marketplace. So I know personally there are people in my niche of math that also sell fonts. If you have created fonts for yourself or to sell commercially and it's just kind of a hobby for you, I would go ahead and list these on other platforms and just see what happens. The way I look at it is this: if I'm creating the product and I am in a product creation mode, so if you've listened to me for a little while, then you know I really believe in focusing on one thing at a time. And so when I'm creating resources, I'm just creating resources. I'm not focusing on new marketing techniques. I'm not focusing on growing my email list or anything like that. I'm strictly focusing on creating those resources for a month or two, or however long it takes me to finish that product line. And so if I'm doing that, I might as well just go ahead and upload them to different platforms. And that gives me more time, especially in the beginning, to focus on stocking my store or storesa with multiple high quality items without having to worry about marketing. And because I have them in multiple places, I'm increasing the chances that people are actually going to be able to find it and purchase those items when I'm not marketing. But this is also really great for increasing my passive income. I'm creating multiple opportunities for people to find me. All right. I want to know whether or not you are thinking about listing your products on other sites. And if so, which one caught your eye? I would love to chat with you more about this in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I put out weekly videos for teacher entrepreneurs, and I will see you in the next video.